Yo, what's going on, fellas? I wanted to talk about today a little bit about Ethereum. Now, right now, Ethereum is kind of lagging behind Bitcoin, all right? And I think the big thing is, when is Ethereum going to go test its highs, kind of like Bitcoin has? And what's next for Ethereum? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smack up that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's get busy. Tomorrow I'm going to be making a Chainlink video, and why I'm actually looking at Chainlink as being in Wyckoff accumulation, how it's been in that third spring, and I think we're ready to go with the upside for Chainlink. So stick by if you are interested in a Chainlink video tomorrow, as we're going to upload one of those tomorrow. So let's talk about Ethereum today and why I am bullish on Ethereum. Because right now, what's the popular sentiment? That, okay, Bitcoin is daddy, everything else is going to struggle. And I'm on that camp too, right? You guys know I've been talking bigly on the live streams about it's Bitcoin season. But what I know about the cycles is when Bitcoin gets up to a high, right, and then starts breaking its high, typically you see Ethereum follow up suit second. And I think Ethereum is lagging a little bit, but I do think it is due to catch up on its Bitcoin pair. And we'll talk about that as we kind of jump in today. So, but first I want to talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, if we expect Bitcoin to do what I expect, which if you've been following the channel, we know that Bitcoin is in that second year of its cycle. And then during the second year of its cycle, it tends to go up and test the 618 Fibonacci, right? From the highs to the lows, it tends to go up and test these Fibonacci levels, right? Now, those are coming in at 40K. You might think that's terribly high. Go look at the previous cycles. That's what we've done in this previous cycles, right? From high to low, we've came up to the 618. We go back to this cycle. From high to low, we go up pretty close to the 618. But that is after we get above the 50 moving average, right? But get above the 50 moving average, come up to the retracement level. Get above the 50 moving average, come up to the retracement level. Get above the 50 moving average, and I'm expecting us to get back up to the retracement levels. Now, why am I talking about that? Well, we know if Bitcoin's going to get a run, it's probably going to do what it usually does, which is going to be this solo run where Bitcoin goes haywire and altcoins tend to struggle during that time. But what I'm expecting for Ethereum is pretty interesting, right? So if we expect Bitcoin to come up here during this next year, which I am expecting it to, if we head over to Ethereum, which, don't get me wrong, Ethereum has been holding up like a rock during this bear market. It has proved that it's no longer in the same class with the other altcoins, right? It's its own entity at this point. It's Bitcoin, ETH, altcoins. We go over to the Ethereum chart, and I find this Ethereum chart very, very interesting. And Ethereum tends to do these Wyckoff accumulation schematics over the course of years. And they seem to be stretching out. Like, it's this weird thing where the Ethereum cycles seem to be stretching out, and they seem to be getting bigger over time, which is interesting, because you think, okay, market cap go up, this is crazy, but it makes sense. The higher the market cap, the longer the cycles. And we can see that during this last cycle, right? We can also see that Ethereum is back above its 50 moving average. Historically, that's a very, very good sign for Ethereum. Now, that's not the major point, though. The major point is, okay, we know if we assume that Bitcoin's going up to the 40K level, and we look at what Ethereum was at, right? We look at these previous 2020 lows, and we look at this as almost a range. So the 2020 lows and the 2021 highs. Big range here. What have we done recently on ETH? Well, we've actually gotten back into the range. And what did we just do a couple weeks ago during the whole Binance and Coinbase thing? Well, we actually came back and retested that as support from back over here. Now, if you guys know about deviations, where all this dump from the Luna Classic dump and FTX dump, you look at all this as a deviation to the downside, we've now gotten back into the range and tested. Now, if you know everything about deviations, you know that typically the target is the top of the range. Doesn't have to happen right away, but typically we're going to take a look. Ethereum tends to do this very often, right? We go back and look at from previous cycles for Ethereum. Here's back in the previous bear market, from all the way back here in 2018. Okay, you can see that Ethereum here had this range where we basically had this previous little consolidation low. we basically broke that low. And when we got back above, what did we do? We actually came all the way back up to test the top of that previous little range, right? Kind of like how we're looking to do up here, the top of that previous little range. Now, that was after the deviation. We actually came back down again, retested that low one more time. Now, we had COVID, right? So we tested it twice, but we came down to test that low one more time before going absolutely to the moon. Now, you can see what we did over here is we basically came up, got rejected, came back down, tested. And in my opinion, the way I'm looking at this right now actually is quite interesting. You could either argue that we are here, where we've tested, or that we are actually here, where we've tested it, right? Now, place your bets on which part of the cycle we're at, but it's very, very interesting. And that's not the only time Ethereum's done this, right? After that, obviously, it goes on to a big parabolic bull run, which we're all hoping for in 2024 and 2025 for Ethereum. We come back over here. Look at it, it's the same thing. Range low. When we deviate that low, right, we go up to the range high, and we actually broke up higher this time, right? So after that deviation of the range, we saw Ethereum go on and set new all-time highs this time as well. And that's not the only time. We did it back here, where we actually had Ethereum have a range low. When we deviated that low on the weekly, we actually went up and set a new all-time high for Ethereum. So you could tell that it continuously does this deviation style, but you can see that it takes longer and longer and longer every single time. This time, for us to get back to all-time highs, it took us 26 weeks. This time, it took us 50 weeks. This time, I'm curious actually, I didn't even know how long it takes. This time, after dropping to the range, it took us 100 weeks. You know, wow, so it goes 25, 50, 100, so it seems to double every single time. We look at where we are now, right, and you could argue where we're kind of at. If you think this was the top, whatever. If we kind of look at where we're at right now, we are about 55 weeks. So the question is, are we going to continue the time where we seem to be going up double the amount or double the amount of time it takes for Ethereum to go into new all-time highs? Or are we going to follow the deviation style where we deviate below the big range and then we come back up higher? That's sort of the question that we got. Now, you might be saying, all right, that's cool, but Ethereum Bitcoin ratio keeps going down. This doesn't make any sense. Well, I go over to the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, and you guys know I'm a big fan of the falling wedge. I understand that Ethereum Bitcoin has been going down. It's been making lower lows and lower highs since really August of 2022. For about a year now, it's making lower highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs. But it's in a falling wedge, right? With 3 touches on the top, 3 touches on the bottom. And we are finding at least a little bit of support here in our retracement levels to the downside. This has a 69% chance to break to the upside. And this is kind of where it all comes together. So if we put this all together and we look at this and say, okay, falling wedge, 69% chance to break to the upside on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. If we take the percentages and say eventually Ethereum, Bitcoin will break to the upside, okay? And we also get Bitcoin to come up to the retracement levels, up here towards the mid 40Ks to 50K region. And we see Ethereum continue up with Bitcoin. That would make you think, well, if Bitcoin's going to go to 45K and Ethereum Bitcoin goes up, wouldn't that mean that Ethereum might actually go a little bit higher, right? If you kind of all put it all together, there's definitely an interesting scenario where that could happen. Now, it doesn't have to happen that way, right? I mean, there's certainly a chance that Ethereum Bitcoin could just fall flat on its face over here. And I know the call is for sort of the double top for ETH Bitcoin, and it's going to go lower, right? I'm just looking at what I see now, and I see a falling wedge, and I don't like to fade the falling wedge. So it's an interesting scenario, right? I think obviously now is the time where I'm looking to accumulate Bitcoin and I'm looking to accumulate Ethereum throughout this bear market. Just like 2019 and 2015, this is the year of accumulation for the high cap where you're sort of the Bitcoin and Ethereums and buying altcoins at smart levels, right? You got to be a little bit smarter with the altcoins. But I continue to say, this is the time where I want to be stacking Ethereum. And this is the zone I want to be stacking Ethereum for the next run to the upside. And I'm very excited for the next 2 years. And I do think we're just kind of seeing a repeat of what we've seen actually 3 times in the past for Ethereum, just actually, funny enough, on sort of a bigger scale this time. And I think it actually could come sooner than you think. If we get that next leg on Bitcoin up to these levels up here, I think we could see an explosive move for Ethereum sooner than most people think here in the market. So that's kind of my thought process on Ethereum. I'm going to do a Chainlink video tomorrow just to go over why I actually really like the Chainlink chart. There's very select few altcoins that I really like, at least chart-wise. Not so much fundamentals, but Chainlink's chart looks absolutely fantastic as far as the Wyckoff accumulation. Just to give you a little sneak peek. We kind of been talking about for Chainlink, but we got the classic little 1 low, 2 lows, 3rd low for the spring, right? Looking for that to come up, but we're going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. If you enjoyed this little update on Ethereum and why I'm sort of bullish on Ethereum and why I get some slack sometimes for being bullish on Ethereum, this is why, right? I think Ethereum's just doing the same thing it's always done. I think ETH Bitcoin is going to get a bounce to the upside. And I also think Bitcoin is going to lead the way higher, right? So you put all those things together, you put everything together, and I think we're going to get a nice run up for Ethereum here very soon. And it's going to surprise a lot of people, especially the sort of full-on Bitcoin maxis that, I've been hammering on the table against the ETH Bitcoin ratio. I think it's almost about that time that the ETH Bitcoin ratioers start to get a fist up there, and we start to see a little bit of a move up on ETH Bitcoin, man. All right, so I'm out of here. Shout out to all you guys. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin and ETH. This isn't a Bitcoin versus ETH battle. I actually own more Bitcoin than I do Ethereum at the current moment, so this ain't a Bitcoin ETH battle. If I had to choose, I'd probably pick Bitcoin to go up more, but I know how the market works, and typically Bitcoin runs first, Ethereum runs second, and then the altcoins run way later, right? So I'm out of here, guys. Have a fantastic day. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later. Peace out.